In my journey to understand the essence of my being, I asked myself, is there a connection between time and the ego? I began looking for an answer in how people around me relate to time. I observed people closely in public spaces, waiting areas, and places where people have nothing to do but kill time. By my observation, people in such situations relate to time in two very different ways. For one group of people, time seems to stop, waiting for a plane or a train, and all that matters is for the time to pass. The other group fills such time with more constructive activities, like reading a book, knitting, or working out a crossword puzzle. Every moment seems to count. Every moment is valuable. I imagine that members of this group have an internal clock, with its hands always pointing to a single reading. Now. There is a book that I bought some time ago but never got around to reading. But its title has lingered in my memory. It was called The Power of Now. While pondering this question, I remembered the book and immediately I picked it up and found myself immersed in a profound exploration of the self and time. The author Eckhart Tolle writes that nothing really happens in the past or the future. Rather, everything takes place in the now. The past is something that went before but no longer exists, except as a mere memory. Even when we remember the past, the act of recall happens in the present. Likewise, nothing happens in the future. It exists only in our present imagination. It is the anticipation of another now that is yet to come. And when that moment comes, it also happens in the present. The past and the future are only reflections of one truth, the present moment, the now. It occurred to me that the past is of two sorts. One of them is the past that gives us lessons to improve our present moment. The other past is the one that carries the pain and trauma of experience, is filled with hurtful memories that tend to burden the human mind. The Quran urges us to view the past with balanced emotions so that you not grieve over what has escaped you, nor exult over what He has given you. The future, likewise, is of two types: a future of hope, toward which we invest our energies and our resources, and a future of fear that fills us with dread and apprehension. And because the future is simply an unrealized now, we can only reach it through a succession of present moments. We can therefore live in the first type of future, the hopeful one, if we focus ourselves on what we do in each of those moments. Yet people waste these moments of now living in fear of tomorrow's sustenance. I recall the divine hadith, "O child of Adam, just as I do not make demands on you about what you will do tomorrow, so do not make demands on me about the provision of tomorrow." Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, says, "If you rely on God as his due, he shall provide for you as he does the birds. They depart by morning with empty stomachs and return by evening full." And his daily prayer, "O God, I seek refuge in you from worry and sadness." I came to realize that neither I nor anyone else could find the essence of self by returning to the past, nor by living in the future. Only by being consciously present in the moment of now can one realize and observe his true thoughts and emotions. Most people, myself included, do not live in the present. We live constantly with the sorrows and joys of the past and with the anxiety and fear of the future, denying ourselves the gift of the present, and with it, the only reality of life. What drives us to dwell on times we cannot control? It is the ego. The ego continuously revives the buried past and gives false life to the future. The ego wants to escape the present to the past or the future, because our awareness of the now brings stillness. It means leaving space for our conscience to observe our thoughts and feelings. This weakens the ego and brings us closer to the source, the God-given soul that is within each one of us. Looking backward, the ego pushes us down a thorny memory lane, manifesting itself as our own sad story. This negative energy clouds our vision of today and weighs down our hearts with great burdens. And looking toward the future, the ego appears in one of two mental images: a terrible thing that needs to be avoided, or a fantasy that we are waiting for. Both of them are killing the moment of now. Prayer, if performed duly and consciously, places us in communion with the One who created us and the moment of now. In prayer, we strive to block unruly thoughts, thus clearing the space between us and our true selves, so our souls may taste the sweetness of true bliss. How many people live while carrying the heavy psychological burdens of the past miseries? And how many illnesses did these burdens bring on their carriers? And how many remain deprived of true happiness, love, and peace? In 2012, a study was conducted by a group of psychologists at the University of Granada. They asked 50 men and women about their feelings on the past and the future, about their physical and mental health, and about their quality of life. They asked questions like, how many times do you think about things in the past and wish you had done them differently? Do you live your life day by day? Or are you worried about the future? The researchers found that people who dwell on the negatives of the past, nursing guilt and bitterness, were less healthy and more vulnerable to illness and the feelings of pain. They also found that people who view the past negatively will view the present similarly. Eliminating the burdens of time from our consciousness means eradicating the ego, the pains of the past, and the fears of the future. This is what the Prophet, peace be upon him, meant when saying, "O God, I seek refuge in you from worry and sadness." The moment we live in is our most precious gift from God. It is now that I comprehend the saying of the Prophet, peace be upon him, "If Judgment Day comes while you have a seed in your hand, you should plant it. You will be rewarded." It is the present moment. It is my reality and your reality, my life and your life. It is the now. Every heartbeat sends a clear message. Life is but moments that slowly beat away.